quickly recap for our viewers what exactly are the allegations which have been made by Akhtar Ali. As we were saying, he is the ultimate insider of the RG Medical College. He was working there for 14 long years till last year when he came public with these allegations. This is what he has said. He has said that there was squandering government money as well as assets illegally by Sandip Ghosh. In fact, the second one is that there was also nepotism in vendor selection, and also there was hiring malpractices which were being put in place at the RG Medical College. He also said that financial rules were being evaded. The fourth allegation is being made by Akhtar Ali is that illegally selling of biomedical waste such as syringes and even hand gloves, some of them could have been infectious as well. Also, he says that there was illegal transfers for monetary benefit which was made within the university, and also there was misuse of COVID fund for a gym as well as the time when it was refurbished as well. Then he says that as per Akhtar Ali, he was threatened for complaining against Sandip Ghosh is what is being said. These are the allegations of this man who was formerly employed by the RG University and Hospital. So let me go across to Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, because it's important for us to understand how could all of this go undetected for so long, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, especially when you had an assistant superintendent coming on record, making these allegations, filing a vigilance complaint, but nothing happened. Can you explain the protocols? Whose miss was this, that the man who is the accused culprit in this entire case is the one who was the head of the college, and the man who was the whistleblower was shunted out?
I think good afternoon, the rape and the murder was bad enough, but now the revelations which are coming out and the allegations which are being made are even more concerning. Obviously, there have been systemic and serial lapses in the protocols of maintaining safety of the resident doctors and young women doctors. But there is also a colossal administrative and financial operational misappropriation. You cannot be recycling hospital waste. It's extremely dangerous. Hospital wastes are divided in 5 different containers, depending upon plastic, human bio-waste, sharps, nuclear bio-waste, and so on, and glass and things. So there is a separate and very distinct protocol which is followed, especially syringes, tubes, IV bags and tubings cannot be reused. It's a huge risk of viral and bacterial infections, including hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HIV, and so many other bloodborne infections. So I think this obviously all this information would reach the CBI by now, and I'm absolutely convinced and sure that they will take stringent action. But the real question arises is, how is this being allowed to happen, if at all it has happened last year or year before that? And this reporting of the MS medical superintendent is obviously going to be to the state authorities, the state health secretary, the health minister, which apparently is the chief minister. So I think there is something seriously going wrong in this hospital, and I dare say maybe some other hospital. So it requires an iron hand to straighten it out. The doctors are therefore very agitated because they have been seeing it. A lot of them would have been quietened down. There is also obviously a threat and coercion towards them to suppress their voices. So I'm not happy with what is happening medically at all.
Yes, how could such grave lapses where there was no even dignity in death? Because one of the allegations is that unclaimed bodies were being sold off before the prescribed time, which was for vetting, which was there. The protocols were flouted openly, and yet he got away with it. Dr. Nikhil Prasoon, now this complaint was filed with the State Vigilance Department. The fact that the whistleblower was shunted out, this man continued to run his regime, run the way he was running the hospital. Could that have happened without support from higher-ups?
See, this incident of rape and murder has shaken the conscience of the nation. And it goes without saying that it has also put into question the intentions of the state government, and I think it is indicative of the connivance on the part of the state administration so far as the whole episode is concerned. Look, if we try to analyze this particular episode microscopically and vividly, what we would be finding? There are several accounts of several steps of failures on the part of hospital administration as well as the state administration.
Right.
Yesterday, what happened in the Supreme Court? Honorable Chief Justice, and I would like to quote him. After the crime was detected, the RG principal tries to pass this off as a suicide. The dog's parents are not allowed to see the body for a few hours. The autopsy was conducted between 1 and 4:45 p.m. and body handed over at 8:30 p.m. And look, FIR was lodged at 11:45 p.m. Doesn't autopsy reveal the victim was raped and murdered? What was the principal doing? And apart from that, when there was the Reclaim the Night movement, and in the mid of the night, around 1 a.m., several hooligans, they attacked the hostels, the emergency wards, and even the crime scene and the nurses' hostels. They threatened them with rapes and other consequences. Now, all these things are going on. How can one construe that the state government is not hand in gloves with the perpetrators? Now, you have been, trying to obfuscate the whole thing. You're trying your level best to cover the things up. Had there been no protest, then these things would not have tumbled out of the cupboard. Now, there are several questions to this. Right. First of all, the series of, there has been a history of, several so-called suicides, so-called deaths of the doctors in last 2 decades when CPM regime was there, and after that as well. There have been instances and allegations of flesh trade, this organ trade, and so many and so forth. Our state president, Dr. Shukant Mazuram, wrote a letter, last year itself. And what is being alleged by Dr. Akhtar Ali was, he had to pay the price for it. He himself was shunted out, and time and again. Now, this becomes amply clear that the state government, the higher-ups in the state administration, might be, getting benefited by keeping Dr. Sandip Ghosh at the helm. That is why he was, despite the fact there was so much furor about this incident, he was after resigning, he was shifted to another medical college within hours. So that is something before our eyes. Everyone can, conclude what is going on.
Absolutely. Everyone can see what was happening, but this whistleblower really blows the lid off the cover-up which would have happened, and that too systemic, something that the Chief Justice of India has also said. It's not about the laws, it's the systemic failure that we have seen. Let me go across to Pooja. Pooja is the one who had spoken to Akhtar Ali and has gotten us this exclusive. Pooja, this is very important for us to understand. Who exactly was privy to the complaint which was filed by Akhtar Ali? Was it the state vigilance? Was it ever submitted to the health ministry? And more importantly, Mamata Banerjee being the health minister herself, would she have seen it?
Well, absolutely. Times Now has managed to track down the whistleblower. His name is Akhtar Ali. He's presently the Deputy Superintendent of Murshidabad Medical College. But remember, till last year, he was working with RG Hospital in the capacity of Deputy Superintendent. And he's the one who's blown off the lid of all the irregularities and corruption taking place inside the RG Hospital and directly connected with the former principal, Sandip Ghosh. So there are some really grave allegations being leveled by Akhtar Ali. Remember, he had moved a complaint with the State Vigilance Department, also Anti-Corruption Branch, in 2023. But the inquiry gave a clean sheet to Sandip Ghosh because he used his influence to get that clean sheet, is what Akhtar Ali says. But now that allegations are surfacing, just 2 days back, the West Bengal government has now set up an SIT. And this SIT spoke to Akhtar Ali and they have also recorded his statement. So after recording his statement and giving an account of the kind of irregularities, scams and illegal things that were going on inside the RG Hospital, he came on camera for the first time and spoke to us. So some some really grave allegations. First and foremost, the illegal disposal of dead bodies. Remember, there is a protocol that needs to be followed as far as disposal of dead bodies is concerned. But in this case, Sandip Ghosh would ensure that the dead bodies which were unclaimed inside the Arjikar hospital were sold off to private hospitals. He's also said that the families would come in to conduct the post-mortem of their family members. Those dead bodies were sent to workshops, to ENT workshops and other departments where students and doctors would conduct a dissection and conduct experiments on them, and then it would go for the post-mortem. Now remember, this is not just violation of any protocol, but this is illegal, this is a crime, because then the post-mortem is conducted and nature of injury changes. So clearly, extremely illegal activities.
In fact, let me go across to Asif Ansari. So Asif Ansari, it appears that Sandip Ghosh was not just profiteering from death, he was also profiteering from the misery of students, illegal transfers, seeking money to pass the junior doctors. Those are just the tip of the iceberg. But the big question again, isn't it ironical? You have the state coming up and saying that we are going to hold a protest against the injustice. And look what was happening under their own watch, under TMC's watch, under Mamata Banerjee, who's also the health minister.
It is really, really pathetic to hear such kind of practice was going on. I am really surprised to know that Mr. Akhtar Ali, who has come forward and he has shown some guts and the flex to say that this malpractice was going on. I really appreciate his courage. But the fact is that it was really very saddened to know that such malpractices was going on, and instead of for any police complaint, he has not registered since that time. If he could have registered those heinous crimes,
he went to the state vigilance. There's a vigilance complaint.
Ma'am,
which was buried.
Vigilance complaint, but buried. He could have approached the police for that. And he had alleged many things about that. The nepotism was happening over there. The squandering government fund was there. So
it was Mr. Akhtar Ali's fault that this racket continued. I'm trying to understand what you're saying here.
I am trying to say, if Mr. Akhtar Ali has come forward, I really appreciate. But if he could have said it before the time of this crime, we could have stopped many other things.
He said it in 2023. Perhaps the beginning of the broadcast you missed. In 2023, let me get the timelines clear here. He not just made the allegations, he typed out a report, he submitted it. There is a state vigilance complaint that Mr. Akhtar Ali was initiated. 2 weeks later, Akhtar Ali was shunted out. He was sacked after working at the Arjikar Medical College for 14 years. He was sacked and Sandip Ghosh remained. Asif Ansari, who failed? Whose failure is this?
Now the case is on the CBI and the Supreme Court is hearing. We really appreciate the CBI is digging up the things which are unnoticed for a long time.
But something that perhaps the state could have dug up a year back. And perhaps this incident could have been avoided as well. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Thank you so much, Asif Ansari, for joining us, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, and of course, Dr. Nikhil Prasoon. Without a short break, this continues to be our top focus. Remember, here on Times Now, we got you the voice of the whistleblower who's now exposed the rot, the deep-seated systemic rot at the Arjikar Medical College.